What's up, guys? I'm going to come on here and do a remake of my UFC 92, the Ultimate 2008 predictions. One, I didn't like the way the video turned out, really. The quality and my picks weren't that great. Two, the audio got messed up, so the last minute or so just got effed up for some reason. It was fine before I posted it. And three, I'm going to do some preliminary picks in this one. The first fight on the card, Pat Barry against Dan Evanson. Pat Barry trains at my gym, Duke Rufus in Milwaukee. If you haven't seen him, look up some of his YouTube. His striking is unbelievably ferocious. His head kicks, all of his kicks really, is unreal, actually. He's a K1 level kickboxer. He's fought in K1 before, so coming to the UFC, he might be the best striker in the heavyweight division. He wins this fight by knockout or TKO in the first round. Brad Blackburn against Rio Chonin. I think Chonin hasn't looked that impressive in the UFC. I think he'll still be able to pull out, this one out by decision. Reese Andy against Matt Hamill. Both wrestlers. Matt Hamill is going to be the better of the wrestler, so he's going to be able to win a unanimous decision probably, or maybe TKO late in the third, but I'm leaning towards a decision. And Tony Hardunk facing Mike Wessel, replacing Mark Birch. Not going to matter. Hardunk's still going to win by TKO in the first or second. Dean Lister, Yushin Okami. I think Yushin's going to be able to get this one down, keep from being submitted. And actually, Okami might just want to keep it on the feet and win it that way. So either way, Okami's going to win a decision. First fight on the main card, Mustafa El Turk against Czech Congo. A lot of people were high on Mustafa El Turk. I didn't know much about him aside from the 6-3 record. Went back and looked at some of his fights. His ground and pound is really impressive. Apparently he was an ADCC European qualifier, so his grappling is really good. His boxing just, looked absolutely terrible. He's got no head movement, flat-footed. He fakes a jab, throws an overhand right. That's the only combination I've ever seen him throw. Against Czech Congo, who he's supposed to be hyped as like a great striker. I haven't really seen that much from him, striking wise, to put him in the great striker category. He's decent. His ground game is not decent. It's not even, I don't even know what word to come up with for his ground game. But, working, training at the Wolf Slayer, with, Michael Bisping and Rampage, and all those guys, Paul Kelly, you'd think his ground game has improved. The one thing I did notice about Al Turk, he likes to ground and pound, he likes to finish his opponents real fast. The one fight that I saw, where he couldn't finish it on the ground, he gassed heavy at the end of the first, and he was not able to do anything the rest of the fight. So I'm going to stay with my prediction on that one. Czech Congo is going to win by TKO in the second or third round. Next fight, Quentin Rampage Jackson against Vanderlei, the ex-murderer Silva. People saying that Vanderlei Silva has lost his edge. People saying that mostly because he liked to use stomps and kicks in Pride. He doesn't have that in the UFC. Disagree with that. And I'll bring up his last fight with Keith Jardine. When he put Jardine on his back with the punches, he just followed him to the ground and finished it with punches instead of, standing up and stomping. So I don't think that's been a detriment to him at all. I think he's still got the fire in him to fight. I think he's still aggressive. I think training at Extreme Couture has taught him to use a little more of his tools. Be more patient, throw combinations better. Still going to be the same fighter at this point, though. I see this fight, maybe fight of the year candidate. Quentin definitely has a chance to pull this one out. Now training at the Wolf Slayer. He did get better in his boxing, his more technical boxing when he trained with Juanito. He's just never trained his ground game. I know he's coming from a wrestling background. He's a good wrestler. You know, beat Dan Henderson. A lot of that fight took place on the ground. But I still see Vanderlei winning this one. Probably not knees in the clinch like the first two. Although, you know, Quentin, I will give it to Quentin. He was winning the second fight up until he got caught in the clinch. I think Vanderlei's going to want to do that, and I think he's going to be able to get it there. I'm going to say, you know, without the pride, 10-minute rounds. Maybe TKO in the third, most likely a decision. This might go either way. I don't see either of these guys getting knocked out, really. Could happen, though, for sure, with both their power, but it's going to be a good fight. Vanderlei Silva, decision or TKO. Late. CB Dalloway and Mike Macenzio. Again, I think they wrestled in college. CB won that one. See CB be able to, you know, maybe win it on the feet. If he can stay out of subs on the ground, I think he should be able to take this one by decision. Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira versus Frank Mir. You know, I heard Frank Mir is training really, really hard for this fight. When I saw him at the Ultimate Fighter 8 finale, he looked really thin. He looked like he was in great shape. And he's going to need to be in this one. He's been learning, you know, rubber guard. He's been rolling with Vinny Malgajes, so, and Robert Drysdale, so, you know, his jiu-jitsu's going to be there. You know, if Frank catches something early and grabs onto it, he's going to be able to win this fight. Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira's never been subbed. He's never been knocked out. I don't think he'll tap, and I just don't. I think Mir doesn't really have a chance on the ground. I'm going to say Rodrigo probably TKO in the third round. Frank Mir gasses. I just don't think he's one of those athletes that's built to have cardio. So I think his cardio is always going to be a detriment. He can train it all he wants. Some guys just don't have the ability to, you know, gain that cardio. And Nogueira's been doing it so long at this point that, you know, he could fight for hours. So yeah, Nogueira sub or TKO in the third. Unless Mir, you know, I was thinking about it, and the first thing I originally thought was Mir could catch something. And if he catches something early, he'll win the fight. And he could very well do that, but I don't see it happening. Last fight, Forrest Griffin versus Rashad Evans. You know, up until the last fight, nobody predicted that Evans had KO power. He does. If he enacts a game plan like Keith Jardine did, kind of crowded Forrest Griffin on the feet, you know, ended up TKOing him. I think Forrest, his footwork and his head movement is going to be too good in this one. I think his technical boxing is going to be better. I think his leg kicks are going to be the story in this one. It's going to keep him at a distance, circle, keep pushing it. I think Rashad takes it down. Forrest has got the advantage on the ground, jiu-jitsu. And he could pull off a sub, but more likely I see this fight going back and forth. Forrest ended up winning a 5-round decision. So there's my picks. Should be a better video. I hope the sound is okay on this one. I'm going to be back on here to do my K1 Dynamite 2008 predictions, which is shaping up to be a pretty decent card. So look for that in the next couple of days. And with that, you guys, stay metal.